Okay, so we've got some inequalities. This is our intermediate section, so let's see what we've got coming up. It says solve and graph on a number line. So first thing we're going to do here is make sure we're using our calculator so we don't make any silly mistakes. We're going to go ahead and draw a line here. Let's get my pen working. And the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to distribute. So 2.2 times y is 2.2y, and 2.2 times 5 is going to be positive 11. Actually, I made a mistake there. That is a negative 5, so it's going to be 2.2y minus 11 greater than or equal to 24.2. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract, or we're going to add 11 to each side. And that leaves us with 2.2y is greater than or equal to, and that would be 35.2. Again, don't worry about using your calculator. It's the best decision you can make. That way you don't have any silly mistakes. So 35.2. The next thing we're going to do is divide each side by a 2.2. We're dividing by a positive number, so that means my inequality symbol will stay the same. So we're going to go ahead and go. I'm going to use this ANS key, answer, to bring down my 35.2. Then I'm going to divide by 2.2, which gives me 16. Now, they wanted a number line. Your number lines don't have to be fancy. They should be straight, so maybe I should redo that one, because that sure isn't a straight line, but I'll do my best. Well, that one wasn't straight either. We're going to go ahead and my answer up here was 16. I'm going to put a 0 here and a 16 here. I'm going to go ahead and get a different color so you can see what my graph looks like. Y is greater than or equal to 16. If it's equal to, that means you have a closed circle, and your graph always points the same way your inequality symbol does. So this points to the right. That means my graph is going to go to the right. That means all answers Y are going to be greater than or equal to 16. All right, so let's go to our next one and see what we have there. Again, it's asking me to solve this inequality. So I'm going to distribute. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times positive 50, again, use your calculator. Don't make silly mistakes, is minus 100, greater than or equal to 16. So we're going to have to add 100 on each side. You have negative 2x greater than or equal to 116. This time we are dividing by a negative number. So that means your inequality is going to switch sides. And I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. 116 divided by negative 2 gives you a negative 58. Okay? So just be super careful when you're doing this. Let's go ahead and try the next one. This one I'm going to have to move this up so that I can actually read all the words. Hold on a second. All right, it says Larry earns $150 a week selling cars. So he earns that no matter what. So nothing changes about the 150. It's just sitting there by itself. Then he receives a bonus. So we're going to add his bonus. It says $60 for every car he sells. So let's call C the number of cars he sells. And it says he must earn at least means greater than or equal to $550 a week. If you earn at least $550, that means you have $550 or more. So that's what he's got to earn. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and solve my inequality. And I'm going to start by subtracting this 150 here from each side. So I have 60 times the number of cars is greater than or equal to, and let's go ahead and subtract that. That's going to be 400. and then we're going to divide by 60. That was a positive number, so that inequality doesn't change. Let's go ahead and use our calculator. 400 divided by 60, and that rounds to 6.7, but really let's round to the greatest number because you can't sell 6.7 cars. You can sell 7. So you have to sell 7 or more cars, so at least 7. B is your answer. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and clear our calculator and see if there's another one. There is. It says, what value of P satisfies the inequality here? So let's go ahead and we're going to have to distribute. Negative 8 times P is negative 8P. Negative 8 times positive 2 is negative 16, less than negative 56. First thing we're going to do is add 16 to each side, and we get negative 8P is less than, and it's negative 56 plus 16, which gives you negative 40. And we're going to go ahead and divide by a negative 8. When you do that, your sign will flip. And let's go ahead and use our calculator. Negative 40 divided by negative 8 is a positive 5. So this is asking what value of P satisfies the inequality. This is saying that P must be greater than 5. Is 0 greater than 5? No. Is 4 greater than 5? No. Is 5 greater than 5? It is not. So your answer is D. A lot of people, when they solve inequalities, they forget all about the greater than or less than, and they just solve it, and they get down to the bottom and think P equals 5, and that's what they choose. And then they get it wrong because you have to be mindful of where that inequality symbol is. Okay, so let's see if we have another one. All right, next is inequalities advanced, but before we do that, I want to show you something. When we have a number line, we know that all of these numbers are getting bigger. So that's where our greater than symbol comes from. And all these numbers below 0 are getting smaller, and that's where our less than symbol comes from. Always write this down somewhere just so you never ever get confused about whether something is greater than or less than. Okay? Next up, inequalities in